Call,
That's Reverend McGee right there.
call to order this regular session for May 7, 2015. Roll call, please.
Here we go.
Johnson.
Present.
Here.
Present.
Bowman.
Present.
Baker. Gage Watts.
Here.
Escudate. Thibodeau. Cox.
Woo!
We have four, Mr. President.
Okay. Gonna ask Reverend John Henson to lead us in the invocation, and Commissioner Epperson if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let us pray. Our God, we give you thanks for this day that you have given us. We thank you that your presence has been with us in all of our different places and backgrounds, and that you are here with us now. We ask that you guide and direct this meeting. Amen.
Amen. Space flag. Veterans and military may render the hand to brow salute. All others hand over your heart. We'll repeat the pledge in unison. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, under God. He still got it. She's still here. Your spirit.
Yes, I move them up to, well, let me get to my point first.
Can I do it before citizen comments? Or
After. After. And then, are there any agenda additions? Done. Next item.
Next, we have citizen comments.
Citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning, please fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return to myself or the clerk of the commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. First card I have is Ian Webb.
Thank you very much. My name is Ian Webb. I live at 9054 Homeless Court in Shreveport. I own a business on Uri Drive. I own River City Cycling. I bought it. I opened it 11 years ago, and I want to thank you all for taking a look at this resolution today. And I want to encourage you to pass it. Over the last 11 years, my business has grown tremendously, and I will say that never have I seen the amount of interest in cycling for transportation that I've seen recently. This is, I think, not only a kind of a social justice issue. I see a lot of people that come in my bike shop that don't have the means to own a car, and they ride bikes, and that's how they get around. And so I see cycling in terms of a transportation as very important. I also see it as a strong economic development tool. I moved home to Shreveport from Roanoke, Virginia, where we had a strong cycling movement, and they did a fantastic job of providing the infrastructure that attracts a lot of young people to that valley. And I know from talking with people in my shop and being a part of the bicycle crowd in Shreveport that this is very important when you're trying to attract young people back to an area to give them the sort of infrastructure that is attractive to them. And so I appreciate you all looking at this, and I want to encourage you to pass it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Next one is Isla Bowlers.
Good afternoon. I'm Isla Broyles. I am a resident of Shreveport. I live at 851 Oneonta Street, and I'm here to give my public support to resolutions 29 and 30, and particularly I want to urge your passage of resolution 30. I have a PhD in public health. I am both concerned about the public infrastructure that we have available to our community to allow people to have active lifestyles, and I think that as we come together, we need to think both about what infrastructure is available to all people from all parts of our community, but also how we can encourage and meld the work that we do, from a public point of view, to create an environment that allows people to walk and bike wherever they live, to the places where they live, where they work, where they play. but also that allows them to enjoy both transportation and recreation that's healthy and safe. And I think that these resolutions would support that, so I urge your passage.
Thank you. It's Browers. The next one is Susan Bettinger.
Sorry. Oh, I'd love some water. Yes, thank you.
I'm not Susan, but my name is John Henson, and Susan is in our group, and we were going to try to
Okay,
get all this in at one time, if that's okay.
that's fine. Get you settled for 15 minutes.
But definitely want to say good afternoon to you, and thank you for allowing us to
Give us
speak
your
to
name
you
and
today.
address.
I'm sorry?
Give us your name and address, please.
John Henson, and my address is 9221 Catalpa Drive here in Shreveport. And I'm the pastor of Church for the Highlands and also the chaplain for Volunteers of America of North Louisiana. My church is a member of Interfaith. And Interfaith is a coalition of institutions across religion, class, gender, party affiliation, and all the lines that tend to separate communities. We do not take money from government, elected officials, or those who are running for office. However, we do advocate that government dollars be spent on programs that we support. And so you'll hear a little bit about what's on our hearts here today.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
My name is Willie Myers, and I am a leader from
Need your
Mount
address.
Canaan Baptist
Need
Church,
your address also.
267 Vine, VINE, 71101. I am a member of Interfaith as well as those persons who are standing. We are members of Northern and Central Louisiana Interfaith. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics of the International Center for Prison Studies, Louisiana has the highest incarceration rate in the world. The Times-Picayune article stated 64% of nonviolent offenders are incarcerated in Louisiana. The national average is 48%. More than 50% of prisoners are housed in local facilities, according to a report by the Louisiana Department of Corrections. We are alarmed at these figures. And the unfortunate fact is that most of those incarcerated are African Americans and Latino males.
Amen.
Most are poor and cannot afford an attorney. An article in the Shreveport Times told of a young man, 35 years old, with 7 children, who was caught with 2 cigarettes of marijuana on his way to work. He is now serving 13 years because it was a second offense. We are locking up people in their most productive years. This makes no sense.
All right.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
My name is Susan Bettinger. I am a member of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, which is a member of Interfaith. My address is 3814 Cresswell Avenue, Shreveport, zip code, or the 71106. It's proven that when people have working in living wage jobs, crime goes down. Interfaith leaders in Monroe have created a labor market intermediary, which is called New Opportunities Vision Achievement, or NOVA, that ties those in training to living wage employment with a career path and benefits. NOVA does not train, but connects employers, training providers, and those needing living wage jobs. It has an 81% completion rate, and participants have added over $6.5 million annually to the local Ouachita community. A typical NOVA participant is a single mother working 2 or 3 jobs. Most of the NOVA participants were on public assistance, and they are now productive tax-paying citizens. NOVA is breaking the cycle of poverty. Whole families have gone through the program. Sue Nicholson, Monroe Chamber Executive Director, says the chamber there in Monroe is committed to creating a new middle class in Monroe by working with NOVA. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and thank you for allowing us to be here this afternoon. My name is Lee A. Jeter Sr. I'm an Associate Minister at Fellowship of Christ Missionary Baptist Church in the Cedar Grove community of Shreveport. My address is 400 Columbia Circle, Bossier City, Louisiana, 71112. We're here this afternoon because we have an issue in our community and our state, and we would like and ask that this commission work with us and address some of these issues, and that is the issue of workforce development and mass incarceration in our community. We currently spend about $17,486 a year to incarcerate an individual. That is a cost that if we fund a program similar to NOVA in our community that would create working jobs and opportunities for individuals. We're long past the time and the stage where we need to keep locking up individuals and not giving individuals as citizens an opportunity to re-engage with their lives. Of the individuals that are currently incarcerated in Caddo Parish Correctional Center, of those 1,100 individuals that are currently incarcerated there, there's 1,100 individuals that are not exercising their constitutional right to vote because they're convicted. Wow. There are 1,100 individuals that cannot help put food on the table for their families. Wow. There's 1,100 individuals that, many of who are male, that are not in a home to help provide for the children of this community. But as a collective body, as a group of concerned citizens, as a group of concerned individuals, we can work together to turn this tide. We can work together to change this, create working wage jobs for individuals through a NOVA-like concept. And we would ask that this commission would work up with us to visit NOVA, to visit what they're doing in Monroe and other communities across the United States, to identify other alternatives to incarceration and ways to create working wage jobs in our community. To help us find a funding source to fund a program like this in our community where we can give individuals an opportunity to have a decent and working and living wage jobs. Because we know that if individuals have a decent job and are able to make a decent wage, then they're not going to be out in the community committing crime. And when crime goes down, our communities are improved, our kids improve, the entire structure works better when individuals have an opportunity to be able to pay their own way. So help us develop a program and seek the funding to create a NOVA-like program in our community in this region. But also work with us, interfaith and other business leaders, once we develop that concept, to introduce that concept to businesses so individuals can have an opportunity to get a living wage job. This issue of mass incarceration is critical to the well-being of our state. You know, we read an article in the paper not too long ago about an individual that I know well, like Mr. Murphy, that was driving down the street in a wheelchair, but it was ticketed, and he's in a wheelchair because he was driving in the street when a sidewalk was present. We've got laws on our books that continue to incarcerate individuals, and especially those that are poor, and to put fines on them when they're barely making it. But this is an issue that we as interfaith cannot address in a vacuum, and that's why we're before this body today, because collectively as citizens, as people elected to support all of the citizens, we the people of these United States, that we need your support to find alternatives to incarceration. And I think if we work together, with this body and other government bodies in our region, we can reduce the number of individuals that are incarcerated in prisons. We can create living and working wage jobs, and we can give families an opportunity to succeed, because right now they're struggling. Single mothers are struggling and trying to work 2 jobs and trying to put food on the table while dad's in jail. And even when dad gets out of jail, because of what's on his criminal record, he can't find a job.
Amen.
And we need to limit how long businesses can go back and trace someone's criminal history. You should be 60 years old and being charged for a crime that you committed at 18.
My.
We've got to change this system. But we cannot do it without the support of our community leaders, and that is the role that you fill. So we're not going to take up all the time that we've allotted, but I think if we work together, we can address those 3 issues. We can create living wage and workable jobs in our community to give every citizen an opportunity, no matter what his or her socioeconomic status is. We can give them an opportunity to have a decent life. We can create jobs. We can reduce the individuals that are in our prison, and we can reduce the number of individuals that are going back to our prison through recidivism. But it takes all of us working together to make that change. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And we would thank you for your support. And we're willing to meet with you and dialogue with you together on how we can address this critical issue in our community and our state. Let's be first in something and not last in everything that we're doing. Thank you.
We just had church over here.
I wanted to make sure everybody received one of these. I think we passed them around. If you didn't, let me know. And I have the booklet on NOVA that was mentioned earlier.
Okay. Thank you, all the speakers and the guests that didn't speak for Interfaith. Mr. Lucky, would you get with them and get some of the key bullets that you had and try to see some open dates that we could actually have a little meeting with them?
Okay.
Thank you. The next one is Najiri Kamari.
Thank you. Well spoken.
Give us your name and address, please.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President, and to all of the other honorable members of the Caddo Parish Commission. My name is Najiri Kamar, resident of 1505 Abbey Street in Shreveport, zip 71103. Honorable members of the Commission, I came here today as not representing the Children and Youth Services Planning Board. However, I am a member of the Youth Services Planning Board, and I do appreciate your appointment of me to that board. I came today to express some concern that I have with regard to some activities that are transpiring that, to me, I believe it challenges or it violates, you know, the public trust of why we were put in place, and it was to address the needs of children and youth in our community. Back in October, Commissioner William had convened a meeting to speak to My Brother's Keeper initiative, and so work had begun, but one of the chief claims that he had made with regard to that was to bring the young people to the table that met the demographic of that particular initiative established by President Obama in 2004. The age category for My Brother's Keeper is age 16 to 24. He spoke specifically to boys and young men of color, African American, Latino, and those from tribal groups. So we don't have a problem with moving forward with that. What we do have a problem is we have not brought them to the table, and work is being done. And I'm a member of the Youth Planning Board, and I have a concern because things are being done and not brought to the board. So I have no knowledge about what their specific mechanism is of what they're trying to achieve. But I can say this, a committee meeting has been set for the My Brother's Keeper initiative, and I'm just posing this to this board so you all can look into what actually is going on, because I would like to know, why would a meeting for the Children and Youth Service Planning Board of Caddo Parish, wherein a partnership have been established with the city of Shreveport under Mayor Glover, where he designated the city of Shreveport to be a My Brother's Keeper community. And the thing that is bothering me at this point, and I believe that you all may be in a position to intervene or just to inquire as to why, but a meeting is being held at the Margaritaville Casino in Bossier City. So my question is, why would a public meeting for Caddo Parish, City of Shreveport, be held at a casino in Bossier City?
Yeah.
So if you all can look into that and just do, try and find out. I believe we're kind of violating what the intent was as it relates to bringing that population of young people to the table and asking them, how can we help them? We've just heard others with interfaith speak to the need for us to address the needs of these individuals. And so it's kind of really challenging when we're taking the public meetings to a whole nother jurisdiction. And I appreciate any consideration you all are able to give.
Well, Ms. Kamara, when Mr. Lucky comes back in from the other group, that he is, he'll get with you, and we'll work that detail out, and then get back to the
Also, Chairman, there may be a Juvenile Justice Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Soon coming.
All right, the next person is Robin Ryan. Please give us your name and address.
Hi, I'm Robin Ryan. I live at 252 East Linden Street, and I'm a Louisiana native. I lived in Shreveport until I left for college, and I recently moved back after living in several larger cities, and most recently San Francisco, California. And while living in San Francisco, I decided to give up my vehicle for the environment and for my health. And I became a full-time bicyclist and pedestrian. And so I'm here to urge you to, I'm here in favor of the bicycle resolution. I just wanted to express how the cycling community in San Francisco has impressed upon me, how it can grow community among people. It offers people a very healthy way, a mode of transportation. It offers relief of crowding on the streets. It offers relief to our environment in ways that we can turn away from fossil fuels and our dependency on the automobile industry. And there's an incredible growing movement here. I've met a lot of folks. I have a little tribe of fellow bicyclists. I ride my bicycle to work every single day, and at work, people are astounded that you can actually do that. And so I would like to encourage the city of Shreveport to promote bicycling. I just can't say enough wonderful things about it, and it's contagious once you express an interest in it, and once people start talking about it, others join in. And from what I've seen of San Francisco, every time they lay down a bicycle lane, it alleviates traffic problems. It encourages people to shop in those districts because they can just pull their bicycle up to a bike rack when there are bike racks, and just pop into a store and shop. And it's just something that I think that this city needs terribly, is to promote the use of bicycles. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Next item.
Next we move to visitors.
Hey, can I make
We got a request by one of the commissioners to move special resolutions before visitors so that we can get the young ladies back to school.
School, they out of school.
Well, back to wherever they want to do.
Back to God's country.
So I'm going to use President's privilege to move it around.
All right, now at this time we have a special resolution of recognition to the North Caddo Magnet High 2015 State 2A champs. Can you please? We'll have the reading.
Please stand.
Like she too old to be a player. She play.
Whereas the Caddo Parish Commission has observed with pride and satisfaction as the Lady Rebels of North Caddo Magnet High School have continued their incredible dominance in girls 2A basketball during the past few years. And whereas the Lady Rebels have for the second year in a row emerged as state champions of high school 2A, having conquered the top seed Pickering Lady Devils on March 7, 2015 in Lake Charles by a score of 55-49. The win gave the Lady Rebels a 24-11 season and their second straight 2A basketball championship. And whereas under the leadership of Coaches of the Year, Angela Chanel and Ricky Evans, the Lady Rebels continued their focus on being their best for their team, school, community, and themselves. An approach which was tested early in the season with the extra pressure of being reigning state champions. The result was a team that calmly did the little things that were needed to win their games, culminating in their second championship season in a row. And whereas the Lady Rebels have built to the beginnings of a formidable dynasty with 2 straight championships and must strike fear in their 2A opponents, noting that an entire roster returns to begin play in 2015-2016 season. Wow. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission, meeting in legal and regular session 7th day of May 2015, it does hereby heartily commend and congratulate Coaches Chanel and Evans and the team members of the North Caddo Magnet Lady Rebels for their winning tradition, their devotion to excellence, and the pride they bring to their school and community. Be it further resolved that the Commission does wish for the North Caddo Lady Rebels much continued success in their future challenges. Signed, Lyndon Johnson, President, Matthew Lynn, Vice President, Doug Dominic, District 1.
So moved. Second.
You know, it's really good that we have nice things in our area, especially North Caddo. It's amazing that I guess last year was the first time the girls had ever won. Once y'all get talk to the board, I appreciate you guys. Y'all been doing a wonderful job. Keep up the good work, especially to you young ladies. It's a testament to y'all's hard work and will to win this for the second time in a row. It's just like yesterday we were down there doing it. So make me do it again. Make me proud, okay? Good to see y'all. Go ahead, you want to talk, Angela?
And thank y'all, Commission, for recognizing us. Like Doug said, it's hard to do it once, let alone to do it twice. And our girls overcome some adversity this year. We had some early season injuries, and like Todd mentioned, we went in as the number 7 seed, and it was a continued battle uphill and to take the number 1 seed out. We had some close games, but it really showed the, as Summer said, the tenacity and perseverance of our girls and what it meant to them to bring it back to Caddo Parish and North Caddo. So thank y'all for the recognition and continued support for a bunch of girls that some will be seniors next year, but thankfully we had none this year. So thank y'all.
We got our trophy. We need to show it.
Goodness, you're right.
Team captain. Thank y'all. What a team captain. Let the team captain speak.
Well, I would like to thank all of y'all for giving us this awesome opportunity to be here today.
All right.
Thank you.
We are very modest and humble, but I will say that Jasmine, the second speaker, was the state 2A MVP.
All right.
And then we
Your action speaks louder than their words, okay?
we also secured first team honors and honorable mention at the state level, all city, and then all district as well.
Okay, we got a couple.
Angela and Ricky for, I guess, coaches in a year in a row. Man, it's wonderful, wonderful for our area.
He's speaking to the mic if you're going to talk.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
We do have some commissioners that want to say something. Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, thank you. I just want to extend congratulations and let you know how proud I am of each of you, and that so many other, not only young ladies, but even some of the young men are probably looking at you all for inspiration. And so I just want to congratulate you again. And although I can't really play basketball, you still inspire me as well. So I just hope and continue that you all do great and another successful season next year.
Commissioner Epperson.
I like your T-shirts. Talk is cheap. Maybe use that again this upcoming season and add to it. Teamwork wins championships.
All right. Yeah. Amen.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. All right. That's what I said. Y'all on.
All right, Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to congratulate these young ladies and these coaches who have made this unselfish commitment and dedication to your skill. We hope that can accelerate into the classroom as well, because America needs you to be the next generation to be able to take our country to another level. So we hope that you guys will sometime have a cohesiveness and remember and stay friends and remember this moment, and hope you can do a three-peat again. So here again, commitment and excellence does pays off. But most of all, keep God first. Whatever you do, always keep God before you in whatever you do, and the rest will be added unto you. So congratulations again as well. Thank you.
Man.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
We need to go ahead and vote.
Oh, let's vote, yeah. Commissioner Dominic, do you want to vote?
Can't do that.
We don't do that.
Well, okay, he can log it.
This ain't the legislature.
We're not the state house, huh?
He voted yes.
Okay, he voted for, okay.
Yeah, so that passes 11-0.
All right. This time we move to visitors, Mr. Lester Smith.
He's not here, but this person that put him on the agenda would like to say something.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, this has been an ongoing perception here in our community regarding this project that we voted on a year ago. And unfortunately, we need to establish some ground rules and put an end to the perception in our community. And I received numerous phone calls within the community at ground zero, in the churches, at the barbershops, especially in District 3 regarding the vote that was made a year ago regarding Elio Motor coming to Shreveport, Caddo, which I think at that time was a wise investment to bring jobs to our community. However, we always analyze things and we say we smell fish, and sometimes the fish that's being smelled is a black bass, but sometimes the white perch seems to get thrown back in the lake. So there is a perception out there that there was perception that a commissioner up here, who I have some information, commissioner didn't even know that this commissioner worked at Elio Motors, or worked I worked in the vicinity of Elio Motors. Several of us said we didn't know. That's an article printed in the Shreveport Times several months ago regarding this project. That was not even an ethical code of ethics opinion that I know of, that hasn't been presented to nobody up here. You and I both know that if it had been one of us who voted on $7.5 million to bring a business here and go out and some kind of way loop around the law to get a job, you know what, there'll be a press conference right now. So I think the perception and the atmosphere that it sends out to the community, that's a double standard up here. Just the other day, a commissioner who applied for a job for Biomed got an attorney general opinion. Shirley came back and said she couldn't do it because she voted. How can a politician get a job before the people get a job? That is unfair and that's not right. That's a double standard. That's why it's so much sometimes animosity and discord up here on this body. Because we have a rule for some and a rule for others. And that ain't right. My mother told me, speak of what you think is right. And that's not justice. If it looks like something wrong, don't make it look like something wrong. There has not been an attorney general opinion, 7.5 million, and there is no jobs yet. But you got a job for the people. There have been commissioners that came up to me and said, Michael, that's wrong. Matthew Lynn, you're one of them who came up to me and said it. There are others. There are others who came up here to me and said it, but when it's time to talk on the floor, they don't talk. No courage and no backbone. But let it been you out there when they got a job at 7.5 million. See what happened. I have no confidence in the investigators or the investigation here locally. Hopefully, there's a petition going around in District 3 on the behalf of the citizens. They're sick and tired of having a double standard. We live in a democracy and equal protection under the Constitution and the law. There's no law, there's no freedom. There are people that bully you, intimidate you if you speak up in this community. George Doctor is not here. We have a right under the Constitution, the freedom of speech. without repercussion. So I hope, Mr. Administrator and the parish attorney, a couple of things we need to do to put this all behind us. If it's good, so be it. We need to get the United States Department of Justice to do an investigation on Elio Motors' contract, see whether legal or ethical. We also need to get a Attorney General opinion from the United States Attorney General, not Louisiana Attorney General, nobody else, but we need an unbiased, independent opinion and an investigation on Elio Motors, and does a commission, the county commissioner, vote on 7.5 million. They can go out and get a job, and the people don't even have a job. But some commissioners single out certain individuals, certain vendors, certain families, and people they don't like. That's who get investigated on, and that's not right. We need to learn to work together, be inclusive, to make it better for our children, our family, but that's not happening. So we hope that, I'm giving you a direct order, I want all the documents about Elio Motors, all the contract with IG, Racer Trust, and everybody, even the company that this commissioner works for. So we can find out, is it illegal or not legal? There have been several attorneys cited revised statutes and code of conduct and ethics in Louisiana. I'm not going to recite those right now. There have been certain DAs called me. All over America, people know what's going on in Shreveport, saying, Caddo, what y'all got going on down there? It's an injustice, and it's not right. It's justice for some and injustice for others. That's why people elected us, to speak up and speak out against injustice. If it's us, it's the people in the community next. So I hope that after the letter, let's get it to the United States Attorney General, and let's have a clean, unbiased, very objective opinion. Is this legal or illegal? Is it ethical or unethical? I want to work on that as soon as possible. Because apparently, nobody from the legal division has made an Attorney General opinion. But other commissions have to get Attorney General opinion for certain things. It's not right, and it's unfair, and we need to speak up about it. So I hope that, and of course, Mr. Lickner serves on the board of Elio Motors. If Mr. Lickner thought Elio Motors project was so big, why didn't he invest his own money? Why did he have to use the taxpayer 7.5 million? And we found a way to circumvent the law and make it work. If he's so creative and creating jobs, why did he have to use the taxpayers' money to do it? And he serves on the board of Elio Motors. It's got some fishy odor over there, and it's called white purse. If it was a black bass fish, it'd have got caught. So I hope that we go out and go do some fishing and catch some white purse. So I'll be meeting with you guys. I'll be having a petition circulating in the churches in the District 3 on the behalf of the citizens of District 3 that was promised a job and they don't have a job. If it's that way today, it'll be that way tomorrow. So hopefully we can have a better working relationship someday up on this commission. I'd like to see it before I go meet my maker. I hope we can get away from that, learn to work together and don't have disparity in everything we do around here in Caddo Parish and Shreveport, Louisiana. I'd like to see that day of justice for all colorblind society. Will I ever see that? Only heaven knows. So we hope that, nothing personal. I like the gentleman, he's a fine man. But due to this question regarding the cloud over this parish and this Elio Motors, the people deserve answers. And we're not getting answers from here. So hopefully we can work on that as soon as possible. Thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
I just want to remind everybody that this parish, this commission does not have any contracts with Elio Motors. It amazes me that today we still have at least one commissioner that doesn't understand that. And I also want to say that if anybody promised anybody a job from any district, they out and out lied to them, because there was no promise made to anybody of any jobs. Once again, about the 1900th time, we do not have a contract with Elio Motors, period.
Commissioner Cox.
That's basically what I was going to say. Through the time that this concept was brought to us, to the time that we saw the car out at General Motors, to the time that we are wasting on this every week. People are accusing Elio of this, Elio of that. Elio and us are separate. Caddo Parish and Elio is two different issues. Elio is right now trying to do his due diligence to get that car ready for production. If you go to his website, it gives you an update every week to 10 days of what he's doing and what he's working with the federal government on what he's trying to do. GM didn't come here overnight, but they left in about, Ken, how long? About less than a year? What is being said from time in and time out at these meetings, and a certain gentleman's not here today who accused me of working out there last week. He ain't here today, so I guess he got the word that if he, mouthed off again with bad information, I was going to come unglued. There's too many rumors, too many false accusations, too many bad information going around just to be blowing hot air. I ain't got time for it. I want jobs here just like everybody else. And believe me, Caddo Parish Commission is working harder than any other parish in this state to bring jobs to Caddo Parish. Every week we talk to people to try to enhance Caddo Parish with I-49, I-20, I-69 sooner or later, to let people understand out in California where businesses are failing because they can't afford to do business out there. We have an issue here in Caddo Parish that people can look at and say, that's a place where I want to go. But they will not come to a place where people are mouthing off innuendos that are false. Bad information that is false. And I'll be honest with you, I am sick of it. I've got 6 months left, 7 months left. I want to bring something to Caddo Parish. We have saved jobs that people in Caddo Parish don't understand, don't even know that companies, since I've been here for 12 years, we're going to get up and go to Texas. And we save jobs, thousands of jobs that the normal people in Caddo Parish don't know about. It is a crime that we come here to do the parish's business, well, we got to listen to crap. Pardon my English. I'm here to do a job to look and better the parish, better your stance in the community. And the only way to do that is to make sure everybody understands what's going on. Elio Motors and Caddo Parish is two separate issues. We have nothing to do with Elio Motors. Are they coming? Lord, I hope so. Because I want a car. I'm going to get one of these days. But what's happening here right now is a disaster. The commissioner that spoke before us, he wants all that information. He needs to read it line by line and understand before he starts talking. And if he does have a sign-up sheet, I'd like to see that sign-up sheet and see exactly what it says. Because the people of Caddo Parish in that district or any other district, even my district, because I get asked all the time, how's Elio doing? They're making mules. Mule is, they'll build a car and they'll tear it down. Federal government will, for safety. They have to go through a process before that car can actually get to the point where it's made. So, I'm pretty well heated on this little deal right here, and I hope everybody understands that there's more important things in Caddo Parish than innuendos right now. And I hope everybody understands that. So, I'm done. Thank you.
Mr. Escobar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, been called a lot of things, but a white purchase is kind of a new one on me. Anyway, I can almost understand the confusion regarding the Helio thing because they're two separate issues. We bought the property, the parish bought the property to try to use it as a tool for the citizens to lure industry in here and create opportunity. And that was a whole separate transaction. far as Elio Motors, I've read through all the documents and gone through the minutes. The only thing we've ever done was pass a resolution saying, we hope you get it together, and if you do, you know, we welcome you. But we haven't spent a dime for them. We haven't given them anything. We haven't made any commitments to them, nor have they made any commitments to their startup. So it's a hope. It's a wish.
Right.
So given that, you know, face it directly, I don't work for Elio Motors. I don't know anybody that does. Paul Elio is the only one I've ever met that works for Elio Motors, and I think he's been here, well, I guess Commissioner Epperson's town meeting a few months ago was the last time he was in the area. There are no Elio employees. But since people seem determined to try to make an issue where there's not, I have requested an ethics board opinion. And that will be forthcoming. But I don't work for Elio Motors. I don't know of anybody that does. The parish has no relationship with Elio Motors. No contract, no nothing. Now, I understand maybe the confusion because it seems to me that when we closed and purchased the General Motors building, the media just kind of never even got it right.
Nope.
I think the confusion came, as I recall, when 2 years ago when Elio came and they had their big announcement. They were going to come here and they were going to buy the plant, buy the property and all, and we were all invited. We went out there, and then their purchase of the land fell through. And then I think we re-engaged with them, saying, well, okay, hey, they can't purchase it. Maybe the parish and the state can. I remember those conversations, and ultimately we did. Elio has nothing to do with it. But that's okay. I understand that. The gentleman that was supposed to be here today, I kind of understand maybe his confusion. I also find it kind of strange that, I don't know if he is or was or still is, but you know, he's the former secretary or maybe the current secretary of Swag Nation. I don't know if that's got anything to do with any of this. I just find that kind of strange. That was that guy do some distance, but according to the Secretary of State's website, I think that organization's listed as their status being revoked. And I can understand individuals getting under pressure and in an attempt to bail themselves out and save themselves will try to do anything, true or not, or take anybody down with them. But I held my head high, and I have nothing that I am ashamed of, and I don't have anything to worry about. And I would hope, though I really don't expect it, an apology, but I won't get it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I think I'm gonna defer mine because I know on the communiques and reports, I got, hold on, but it's I got the floor right now. So basically, I'm gonna defer mine until your administrative report because I know you have something to say about what I was about to say. So I'll defer. Yeah, Commissioner Williams.
My only thing is, it's not a matter of bringing jobs. It's a matter of creating a job for yourself. Let's not get confused. You work for some affiliation that has to do with Hootnickner, the Elio Motor Coalition. So I want an outside Attorney General's opinion from the United States Department of Justice. I want the United States Department of Justice to do an investigation and see whether it's legal for a commissioner to go out and create a job, circumvent the law, bypassing the law, going through loopholes, through IDF board and all that. That's what I want. Surely I want jobs. I have worked hard to bring jobs to this community. Tax credits. I have. We're talking about fairness. Ms. Baker had to do an Attorney General opinion the other day. That's all we're saying. They came back, said she couldn't participate on the project. What's wrong with other commissioners having to play by the same rules? You just didn't have a double standard. One rule for everybody. So I don't want to get it misunderstood that I don't want jobs. I want fairness and equity on this commission and in the community. I want equality and justice for all when we say the Pledge of Allegiance. That's all I'm saying. Nothing personal against you. It had nothing to do with what you talked about earlier. There are some people who don't like people being able to get away with things. What's wrong with that? If it's good for Gannon, it's good for the goose. If I have to have Attorney General opinion, so do you. It's nothing personal. Does Ms. Baker have to have Attorney General opinion? So do you. Not after the fact. You done voted on it now. You receive an economic gain from your vote. That's wrong. Regardless of how you want to put it and say it and do it, it's wrong. I'm not an investigator. I've had investigators tell me, I've had DAs tell me, preachers tell me in the community, senators in the community, that ain't right. There's a petition going around asking for this outside opinion. That's what is going to happen. Then we don't have to play the guessing game anymore. That ain't what I do. I'm going to write and I'll get an unbiased, objective, independent opinion and an independent investigation on what is legitimate. That's what we want. Thank you.
Next item.
Adopt the regular session minutes from April 23rd.
Move to approve. Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Watts. Let's vote. I don't know. I didn't see it. Oh, it's over there. Okay. That passes 11-0. Change screens on.
Communiques and committee reports. Administration response to information requests from commissioners.
Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. Yes, President Johnson, I think last work session you asked me to put together a chronology of events concerning the GM plant's history, as well as the past, present, and the future of the plant. I've done that, and we put it on our website, and it does indicate that we do not have a contract with Ilya Motors. And also, there's a point of contact for Ilya Motors, and also I made a reference to the IRG, and Mr. Ono is the real estate executive on behalf of IRG. It's also in this report, so it'll be available to anybody that wants to see it on the website, per your request.
Thank you.
And also, I had one other item, sir. We had a commissioner request for an update on the Dawson Road project, and we did the feasibility that was briefed this week in the committee, and he would just like the committee to know what's going on as well. So at this time, I'd like to have Mr. Ken do a little quick synopsis of what was talked about at the committee meeting, just a little bit, for the benefit of the commissioner who asked me for that to be said.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. We met on Monday at 1 o'clock, and I believe that Special Projects committee with Commissioner Thibodeau, and just really updated the committee on where we sat. If you remember last time we talked about this, you guys appropriated $1.25 million to go ahead with a study. We selected 6 firms, large firms that were capable of doing feasibility studies. We chose one, KSA. They had a small emerging business component with that. They finished last month, and we went through the draft process with them. The summary of the report, you can see the report's pretty thick. The summary of the report, we looked at a few different things, a couple things of cost, environmental. I'll just kind of go down real quick. The project cost is about $4 million. That is a very conservative number. We think it may go up a little more because we haven't done the first little bit of surveying. We haven't done anything out there yet for drainage. Everything's just based off of maps. So we think that we have the right price, but we're not quite for sure until surveying can hit the ground. We did find that there were no environmental issues. We were concerned about the study is concerned about the increased traffic counts. The study looked at the 25 mile an hour versus the 45 mile an hour speed limits. Rice Road and Dawson Road are both right now they are neighborhood roads. They're built at 18 foot wide. They're meant for one way in, one way out. Neighborhood roads, not for through roads. So some of the construction cost was increased due to the fact that we would have to widen those roads for a through road capability. The decision would have to be made about the increase of travel, increase of speed. And I'll tell you that what it is. We also looked at travel just times. We went from Dawson Road to Walmart, and then Dawson Road over to Jefferson Page at Greenwood to determine if there was any increased travel speed by completing this. And it turned out that 25 mile an hour is about 2 minutes longer with the increased, if we built a connector through. So at 25 mile an hour, but it would be a couple minutes quicker if we would increase the traffic or increase the speed along the new road to 45 miles an hour. We left it as that because that would have to come before the commission to do that after the road was built. The study also looked at the emergency services component. And since the fire district was able to build their new station up on Rhoda, which is just north of Jefferson Page at South Lakeshore, it's a now manned station, that pretty much took the component for Dawson Road out. They're able to get to Dawson Road in about 3 minutes. which was considerable faster than having to come from Greenwood, regardless if the connector road was finished or not. They also looked at the perceived tax benefit. We understand that when the through road will be built, it also opened up a lot of areas of large tracts of property for possible development. And by staying consistent, there's 51 houses up there now. We did a conservative effort saying that there'd be about 101 houses will be built if this connector road went through. We did the tax analysis on it, determine how much it would cost per resident, or kind of as one of those cost-benefit ratios. How much does it cost, per resident? And it was pretty high, as well as if there was any tax benefit on that, if for some reason the houses should go on. And I think Commissioner Johnson, I sent you a spreadsheet indicating some potential tax revenue if houses were built above the $175,000 limit of the or $75,000 limit of the homestead exemption. So there was a little bit of taxes that could be received from that. The upgraded road section is for a safety benefit. We want to make sure that it would be safe. But at the end of the day, the cost benefit ratio that we look at travel times, we look at shorter distance to travel, we look at any kind of road wear and tear in your cars, that type of things. And it really, with the cost and the 15-year rollover, we maintain our roads. We expect to do an overlay or rehab every 15 years. That cost, if you brought it to present day, is about $7 million. The engineer felt that $7 million versus the small percentage of houses and the increased traffic that would go out there, that the cost benefit ratio wasn't very effective. So the surveying or the engineering company said that they don't recommend the project at this time based on those criteria, but also recommend that as things change, because everything does change, if something should happen or change up there, that we should look at it again in future, determine if that criteria or that change in the neighborhood would change enough to see the road to be feasible. So that's kind of where we're at. The committee meeting didn't have a quorum, so they weren't able to vote to bring it forth. I believe Commissioner Epperson is planning to bring it up again at the next one, to hopefully to vote on it, to bring it forward to the full commission for review. Any questions?
We got some commissioners on the board. Are any of those pertaining to this? Yours?
Will you email me that feasibility study along with the cost associated with paying for that feasibility study?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. The cost for the feasibility study was $30,000. We'd originally thought it was going to cost $60,000, but through the process, when we put out our matrix and everything like that, but I would definitely send that to you.
Send it in the email with that.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I just want to know, so when can we start construction on the road?
As soon as the rest of the funds are appropriated and we appropriate the right-of-way. There's about 4 tracks of right-of-way that we'd have to appropriate. And through the process, Mr. Dawson's prepared to donate some property to us, but there's a few others that we would have to approach and possibly have to buy. So of the $4 million, it does have some money in it for possibly buying some right-of-way.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. My question is, you said 101 houses to be built or 101 houses total?
We right now there's 51. That's really along Dawson Road or in the Dawson Road area as well as the Rice Road area. We expect that another 50 houses could be built based on that expansion of the road. So that would move the number from 51 to 101.
Okay, and you said it's $75,000. How did you arrive at that?
Well, the $75,000 is the homestead exemption. We looked at everything out there. The original assessment that's in the study, the engineers, they went out there, looked at the assessment of all the houses, and we assumed that they would stay about the same. With that in mind, the houses are about $110,000, $150,000 range. We also looked at the benefit if it should be able to build $250,000 to $300,000 houses out there, what would be the tax benefit? I think the number was about $50,000 additional a year in taxes based on increased property or increase of houses that are valued being built out there for a year.
And how much do we have already appropriated for that?
1.25 mil.
And we need?
At least 4 right now.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it, Ken. No one else had any questions?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Ken. Thank you. Should. All right.
Here's my reports.
Okay. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair.
And committee reports.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to ask the administration, the people that came up from Interfaith, Are we reaching out to them to try to set up a
Yes.
meeting?
Yes, sir, we
Somewhere
will.
down the road, because they had some valuable, factual information. Because we know that this state is addicted to locking people up, and they need to be weaned off the bottle. Like she said, you know, many of the people that are in their prisons for nonviolent offense. So we need to catch up with the rest of America and have a better way of smart justice and locking people up with one joint and wheelchairs. And that is inhumane, man. That's inhumane how they treat us down in Louisiana. That's wrong. The people don't say nothing. Got all these churches and all these politicians ain't saying nothing. Warehousing like animals in these prisons. Nobody's saying that. These are your brothers, your aunties, your cousins, your family members that are sitting up in these prisons. Came born out of jail for $200, $150. Don't make no sense. You know, many people have died, went to prison for civil rights, equal rights, human rights, and now there ain't nobody beating them with no brooms and mops, and we still ain't talking. Something's wrong, man. Don't make no sense. Don't make no sense. But secondly, the young lady talked about the My Brother's Keeper initiative. It was under the watchful eye of this body. I think Doug Dominic was the president at that time. And we seek to work with the My Brother's Keepers initiative here in Caddo Parish. Start the legwork, the groundwork, was the contact person with people. We've been doing My Brother's Keeper work way before they even came up with My Brother's Keeper. It was a model for 16 and 24-year-old African American, tribal and Native Indians and Latinos, 16 to 24. That's who he said that he wanted to address for job training and education and mentoring. That was the mission of My Brother's Keeper. Kind of got out of our hands and got over there some kind of way. It's all messed up. The people that's being affected the most, not even at the table. The people that can be part of the solution, that's already part of the problem, can help craft and create solutions to the problem. Not those that never been part of the problem. Don't you think it's better to work with the people at the bottom that's part of the problem, that can be part of the solution, that have input on things that affect their lives, but we make policy and ordinance and legislation on people that have no input. So we hope to get out in the community, hopefully at one of these churches, My Brother's Keeper, First Initiative, the Youth Promise Act, the Juvenile Justice Committee, to have a symposium on how to rebuild trust with the police, so we won't have another situation like Baltimore, like Ferguson, like Florida. You know, we need to have a better working relationship with the police department so we can engage on etiquette with the police. They're shooting young black boys. We just a step away. We're no different than immune like any other city or state. We also need to have some job training and education and participation. We need to have mentoring.
I agree with that.
And then we need to have expunging people records when they do commit a crime. So hopefully the Juvenile Justice Committee can meet, maybe meet at Morningstar, I don't know, and have a symposium on how to interact with the police department so we can prevent another catastrophe that's happening all over America. So that's something that we need to look into. Near future, we'll be getting together. I'll reach out to Pastor Theron Jackson and see can we work with the law enforcement agent to address that. Right? Thank you.
Commissioner Epperson?
I just want to speak in reference to the interfaith persons that were here. I've had the opportunity to address them at one of their meetings that I was invited to. A lot of their concerns, this body is already addressing them. Case in point, CBO NGO request last year was, I think, 5.5 million, and we did fund about 3.5 million. Those are organizations that are doing things within the community, and I would certainly hope that the administration would give them a list of those organizations that are doing some of the same things that they are, asking us about, that they could piggyback with them in the neighborhood. Judge Shiva Sims has a program, Know Your Rights. I've had the opportunity to be there and sit there. She does them all over the parish about what you do if you stop by the police or whatever it is. A lot of those things are still in place. When we're talking about living wages, this body has adopted a resolution that's gone as far as the state legislature as well as national with NACO to increase the minimum wage and have a living wage. Matter of fact, this body, our lowest paying job is well above the minimum wage. So these are issues that we are addressing. And I would certainly hope that, Mr. Lucky, you would put them in contact with the Biomedical Research Foundation, who's just received a tremendous windfall for the next 15 years of over $45 million and possibly another 2.5 with the EAP program. Same situation, piggyback with them to create jobs. I see at one of the advertisements, they said they created 3,237 jobs, $800 million economic impact, economic diversity, education and healthcare. Certainly the same wishes of this organization. So I would hope you put them in contact with those persons at the Biomed, and I'm pretty sure that they can work something out, you know, between the next 15 years and $45 million. So a lot of things that this organization, which I told them at the meeting that I was invited to, we are doing it. Now, we can't specifically do something to cater to your particular wishes, but we have programs out there, and we certainly welcome you to piggyback with those programs. And since they said they don't want any government money, so they aren't putting in any requests or anything for NGO, so certainly we got some money that's been, I guess, clean since it came from the government to this private partnership. Maybe they can piggyback on some of that clean government money and get some things done. Thank you.
It was dirty one time.
Next item.
President's report.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank the administrator, the tax assessor, and the Caddo Parish staff for coming out to the town hall meeting that I had April 30th at the Northwest Louisiana Technical College. Citizens that did show up, they were very impressed with the information that was given. I'm still getting calls about how informative that meeting was. I also like to thank Dr. Wilson because I asked a couple weeks ago to develop this timeline on General Motors and what we got, and today it went onto our website. So all the citizens of Caddo Parish and citizens of the United States and foreign countries, you can look at it. It's caddo.org, caddo.org, and you can look at it and see the timeline of how everything was laid out and who's involved and who is not involved. It will help to try to clear up some miscommunication that was, I guess, established at the very onset, and I wanted it to be something that will be an official document from the parish that the public can see. And so now you have it. It's on the website, and look at it. That's it for the president's report. Next item.
Next, we move to public hearing on ordinances. Ordinance number 5476 of 2015, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Public Works Fund and Capital Outlay Fund for the year 2015 to provide an appropriation for the Ward 2 road extension.
Public hearing is now open on ordinance 5476. Is there anyone to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone to speak in opposition of this ordinance? Public hearing on ordinance number 5476 is now closed.
Ordinance number 5477, 2015, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund for the year 2015, providing a $5,000 appropriation to the Huntington High School Band.
Public hearing on ordinance number 5477 is now open. Is there anyone that wants to speak in favor of this ordinance? Give us your name and address, please.
Okay. Roger Jefferson, 3131 Knight Street, apartment 235. I'm the band director currently at Huntington, been there 4 years. This DC trip came up April 8, 2014. We were invited to DC to represent Louisiana for the National Independence Day Parade. It's historic because this has never happened for the Huntington Band, and kids, they talk about it every day, and we just pray that you pass this ordinance to give us this $5,000 so we can get closer to raising funds for this trip.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak in opposition of? Ordinance number 5477 is now closed.
Ordinance number 5478 of 2015, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the parish administrator or designee to sell parish's tax interests.
Public hearing on ordinance number 5478 is now open. Is there anyone to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone to speak in opposition of? Public hearing on number 5478 is now closed.
Next, we move to ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5476.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Dominique. Second by Commissioner Williams. See no one that wishes to speak, let's vote. Epperson. That passes 11-0.
That's when ordinance number 5477, amending the budget estimate revenues, appropriation of $5,000 for Hunting High School.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bowman, seconded by Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Thibodeau.
Realize I'll probably be in the minority of this, but, you know, this letter was sent to Huntington 13 months ago. And from what I understand, we've been told they've raised about $10,000. This could have been a wonderful learning experience for the members of the band to have raised the money themselves to, through letters to alumni, letters to former band members, different opportunities they could have had to raise money to make this trip. And this is how most schools do it. Most high school students, when giving an opportunity to go somewhere, the adults in charge usually set up opportunity for them to earn that money. And I guess the thing that really burns me more than anything is that here we're getting a request from the school, and the school board just gave their superintendent a $25,000 a year raise and gave him an additional $10,000 to just sign the contract. But yet they can't find a dime, a single dime, to give Huntington or anyone else. So where, you know, I see that burns me up. And also, you know, $5,000 from us is not a great deal of money, I realize that. But I think it sends the wrong message that, hey, when things go bad, run to the government, they'll take care of you. They're the big nanny. They're your nanny, they'll always take care of you. And I think that's the wrong message to send. And finally, if the school system themselves cannot find it to be important, then, or nothing from the city, why are they coming to us? And so I think they missed out on a wonderful opportunity for these kids to have raised some money. And maybe had they come to us and said, hey, we've got all of it by $5,000, I'd have been the first one to vote for it then. But they're coming to us and saying, we only got about 10,000 and we need about 70 or 80,000. And we got this letter 13 months ago. I think that's a bad message. And lastly, any other school, whether it be an elementary school, high school, middle school, who now has an opportunity to go anywhere or do anything, I don't think we can turn them down if they come to us, because we have already approved one. So I know that most of you are going to still vote for this. I'm going to vote against it because I think it's the wrong thing to do is to give them the money for the reasons that I've stated. And I would ask that you join me in that.
Mr. Cox.
At a time where, you know, the arts and band should be more prevalent in our school system for kids, because I remember when I was a kid, we had band, and it was the ability to go to band, because not everybody plays ball. And so a band was a way that a student could do something different. Now, I'm going to compare the Huntington case to another school that's in my district who raised their own money, went to Atlanta, won a competition, and now has been invited overseas. The last two trips they've taken they raised all their own money. I don't think it'd be fair for me to say that school's name, but I agree with Mr. Thibodeau. Children today need to learn values of to get something you got to work for it. And I understand that this is a golden opportunity for them. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to vote for it, but with an exclamation point. When I was raised, if I wanted something, I got out and worked for it. These kids, if this is the administration of Caddo Parish Schools, that principal at Huntington, if they knew this back a year ago, then a year ago they should have been started doing something. Whether it was or not, if you can't make it, you can't make it. Mr. Thibodeau is right. We are going to open up a can of worms here today when we approve this, and I have no doubt it's going to get approved. But for one government body to come here and ask us for money for something that they should have set aside for, that, and I'll be honest with you, I think Caddo Parish school system is not doing their job. Plain and simple. They are always talking about the kids, the kids, the kids. Well, I've walked around the schools and I've had 2 kids go through the school system in Southern Hills, and I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for the parents supporting those kids and supporting those schools, those kids would have been left way behind a long time ago. So, as representatives from Huntington are here today, I would ask that y'all go back and talk to your representative and your principal and explain to them that we got off lucky today, because there's going to be others come up. There's going to be a football team or a basketball team, or somebody's going to come up with, well, we just can't raise money. We want y'all to bail us out. And it's coming. But for kids at this age and this point of the way the world is today, we're teaching our kids the wrong thing. I think we're teaching them the values of give it to me, instead of the value is let me work for it. And that's wrong. And when they're in high school, that's the time. If we don't have them by the time they graduate, when they graduate, they don't have the ability to go out and find a job. And that's sad. And I'm not talking about just in one district. I'm talking about the whole country. We are letting our young people down because we're finding the easy way out for them today. And that's wrong. And that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to say, first of all, that I am very proud that the students of Huntington have come forward to ask this body for what they need. The kids today could be doing so many other things. I myself am a former band member. I know that when you are doing enrichment classes, that it enhances everything about you. It is not too late for them to continue to raise money for this trip. They still have time. They still have plenty of time to get it done. I, along with another commissioner, are going to do everything we can to help make sure that you get the opportunity that you so deserve. I do understand that, as my colleagues have stated, that it is in a short notice, and that for whatever reason that you have not gotten to the goal that you were attempting to make, I want you to be encouraged and to know that this task is not over yet.
Come on.
Also, with that being said, I know that trouble is easy to get into and hard to get out of. And just with that being said, kids today are more apt to it at any time, even now. I think that I will definitely be supporting this, and I'm asking that my colleagues support this as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's all the taxpayers' money, even though it's a different pot of money, but it's all the taxpayers' money. And we have the authority to decide on issues that come before us. You know, we don't have a problem with bailing out Wall Street, but we want Main Street to suffer. And then what we do, we pitted the have against the have-nots. How can we ever equalize opportunities? We're going to have to find a way to have some common ground. Recognize that socially and economically, this is a poor, poverty state. Even children that are poor, but they're smart, but they don't have the economic opportunity like the have kid does. So that's why I'm saying government can't be everything to everybody, but it sure can pitch a little bit to help out those in need. And this only a one-time funding. Not asking, they just said one-time funding to get some national recognition to represent our community. We have to find a level playing field, but we can put a guy in jail for 17.5. That ain't no problem. We'll lock a man up for a joint. Oh, that's good. But it's take $5,000 and send some kids to Washington. We want to complain about that. And we go to church every Sunday talking how much we love God. What do you think? These are God's children? We heard it. Get up here and pray every week. Go to your churches on Sunday. Get on your knees and bend before God. And the poor go be with you always. Always. And God will say, what have you done for the poor lately? And some of y'all will say nothing. And so I'm saying, let's not talk out the both sides of our mouth about, well, we want to surely help you. But when it comes time to help, look how we vote. Look at our policies. Look at our attitudes. It's a one-time funding for children and social economic. Don't even know if they got mom and dad at the house. That poor band director and those teachers need to have hazardous duty pay for all the stuff they go through now. They need to have bulletproof vests on now. Teaching in America is a job, worse than being a police officer and a firefighter. So, I mean, we could find some meaningful opportunity, alternative, to keep them off the streets, productive in a classroom, so we won't have to put them up in these jails. But it's okay for some of us, because that's the mission, is to put them in jail. But my mission is to close the jail down and build more schools. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, sir. I'll be brief. I just want to say I'm supporting this, of course, but one reason is this is a rare opportunity for these young people to have, and I've been where they were, where they are currently, even in band as a drum major. This is like exposure on a different level that'll be good not only for Caddo Parish but for Shreveport. And whenever you can have a chance to have something positive like this, yes, I understand it. It's not about, sometimes people just can't, things just don't work out right in life, and it may not be at the fault of the children. My thing is I don't want the children to have to suffer over something they worked hard for. And yes, it could be a responsibility of the school board, but as the old African proverb says, sometimes it takes a village to raise a child. And so we're part of that village, and we need to help sometimes not bail out the child, but not give him a fish. But as they say, you give him a fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And so I think that by them working and getting to this experience will give them the exposure that they may never have in their lifetime to have, and be able to come back. And that may just be some spark to keep them going, to go to college, to graduate, to be a positive statistic and not the negative statistic that we've been talking about all day and that has us incarcerated and everything else. So I won't preach, I'll just say that.
Thank you, sir.
Preach it, baby, preach it.
Let's vote on ordinance number 5477. Dominique and Escadade.
They were talking.
That passes 8-3.
Next, we have ordinance number 5478, declaring certain certificated properties to be surplus, and authorize designee or parish administrator to sell the tax interest.
So moved.
Approved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Lynn, seconded by Commissioner Dominique. No one that wishes to speak on that, let's vote. That passes 11-0.
Next, we move to ordinances for introduction by title. Ordinance number 5479, setting the general purpose millages and special purpose millages and instruct the tax assessor to include said millage on tax rolls for the year 2015. Ordinance number 5480 of 2015, setting the parish millage for purpose of paying principal and interest due in 2015 on outstanding parish bond issues, and instruct assessor to include said millage on tax rolls. Ordinance number 5481, adopting the values fixed or to be fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission on all assessments for railways and other public service corporations, and instruct the assessor to extend such assessments and values on the tax roll, Parish of Caddo. Ordinance number 5482, setting the assessment of property classified as timberlands, and instruct the assessor to include said assessment on tax roll of parish for the year 2015. Ordinance number 53, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund for the year 2015 to provide an appropriation of $20,000 for the Intercity Entrepreneurial Institute. Ordinance number 5484, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Economic Development Fund for the year 2015 to provide a $125,000 appropriation for the North Louisiana Economic Partnership, NLP, to hire a Caddo Parish focused staff person and to otherwise provide respect thereto. Ordinance number 5486, an ordinance amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund for the year 2015 to provide an additional appropriation of $43,000 for summer employment program. Next, we need to ratify the work session minutes.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Lynn. Vote. Bowman. Watts. Watts. That passes.
Next, we move to resolutions. Resolution number 29, declaring May as National Bike Month.
Move to approve.
Second. Got a bite?
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Williams. That's, vote.
This is a good move.
That passes 11-0.
Resolution number 30, supporting the United States Department of Transportation's mayors and local elected officials' challenge for safer people and safer streets.
Move to approve.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by the chair. Commissioner Lynn, you want to talk on this?
I would like to speak on this. This particular resolution is a mirror resolution that the city of Shreveport has already passed, and this also recognizes that whether you're riding a $10,000 bike or riding your bike to a $10,000 job, that there is a kinship among bicyclists, that it creates a friendship level amongst everybody that does ride a bicycle, and this would just make it a little bit easier to do so in Caddo Parish in a safe manner, and I would greatly appreciate everybody's vote. Thank you.
No one else wishes to speak, let's vote. Thibodeau and Bowman.
We having words over here.
We got to get y'all some Red Bull over there.
They got tricycles.
Still waiting on Bowman.
That makes it safe.
Paperberg got training wheels.
It's got 3 wheels. Got 3
Makes it
wheels.
safe.
3 wheels instead of 2.
Yeah. Well, that's Helio Motors.
Resolution number 31, authorize acceptance of the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, second by the chair.
Complain.
See no one with speech, let's vote. That passes 11-0.
Resolution number 32, resolution urging the state legislature of Louisiana to enact House Bill 72.
Moved by
What did the house do?
Let me see.
Commissioner Watts,
Yes.
Second.
second by Bowman.
What did that do?
As the maker, if you would like to speak, Ms.
Of
Watts?
course I would. Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution is urging the state legislation of Louisiana to enact HB 72. This is about synthetic marijuana. There was a case of a young American teenager named David, lived in Iowa, who apparently committed suicide. After his friends heard of this, they admitted that they all had smoked synthetic marijuana. In 2010, Louisiana joined along with several other states to ban synthetic cannabis, which prohibits actual possession, use, sale, or distribution. The health effects are unknown. However, the ones include seizures, hallucinations, paranoid behavior, agitation, anxiety, nausea, vomiting, racing heartbeat, and elevated blood pressure. The ingredients are very harmful. Bath salts is known to be one of them. On July 10, 2012, President Barack Obama signed the Synthetic Drug Abuse Prevention Act of 2012 into law. It bans synthetic compounds, commonly found in synthetic marijuana, placing them under Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances. This week, kids were on a field trip, and 2 of them fainted, passed out from apparent synthetic use. It's obvious that the drug is still in circulation. My question is how is it getting to the streets? How can you walk into the corner stores, into the beauty stores, and buy this product? This law needs to be enacted, enforced, and carry stricter penalties. We cannot prevent all drugs, but we must do more to protect our children, our future. I'm asking for your support on this resolution. Thank you.
I also would like to remind commissioners that back in, I think it was 2010 or 11, Commissioner Cox introduced this to the commission, and we actually voted to ban and have it as illegal to use and have as possession of.
But now we can smoke legally.
At this time, I'll yield to Commissioner Cox since
That's
it was
what I
his.
was just fixing to say. We worked, Commissioner Smith and I saw a growing problem with these corner stores that were moving into our neighborhood that were taking over the Circle K's or the old packet sacks. And they had bongs out in plain sight, and you know, we had a couple came up here and they had a 6-year-old daughter, and first thing she asked was, "Dad, can I have that toy?" Well, the toy was a bong. And then they had a gas mask hanging from the ceiling, and we just asked them point blank, well, what's that for? Oh, that's a toy. Well, we knew it wasn't, so we got with the Sheriff's Department, got with the Drug Task Force, and with about, what, 3 months? We had legislation drawn up, and in Caddo Parish now, all that paraphernalia has to be behind the counter. Now, the packs that these kids are buying now and smoking are not even supposed to be sold over the counter in Caddo Parish.
That's what I was wondering.
So we need to get with Sheriff Prater and ask him to go back and take a look at this. And they do, when they do their sweeps of alcohol, they're looking for that kind of stuff. So I can tell you that as I go around Southern Hills into some of these off-the-wall businesses, that you can't see it anymore. They have to have most of that, the bong and the paraphernalia behind the wall, where if a customer asks for it, they have to escort them behind the wall. So, but as far as the other stuff, yeah, it is in Caddo Parish where it is illegal. Now the problem is, the manufacturers who make this stuff, there's not a set design on how they package it. So when they package it and spray it, there's not a, you may get one package of the same product that's more potent than the next package. So if one kid gets it and smokes it and he feels good, the next package is going to kill a kid. Because on the back of the package, it says not for consumption use or something to that
In
effect.
large amounts.
That makes it legal in most states.
Wow.
So this is where America is right now. We give it up for everybody to make a buck, whether it kills somebody or not. But in Caddo Parish, Mr. Smith and I, we took it head on and give it to this body within 3 months. We voted and we had the Sheriff's Department, and we just need to, if the administration wouldn't mind, sending a friendly email or a letter to the sheriff and asking him to do some sweeps on that during the summertime, because summertime is when it really gets rocky.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's vote.
Y'all gonna miss me when I'm gone.
That passes 11-0.
A little bit.
Next item.
We have no old business and we have no new business.
Adjourn.
That was it?
John?
That was a good one.